Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. So this is our very first theory session for matter in our surroundings. So this is your first topic also. This is the first chapter of grade 9 CBSE chemistry. Right, in this topic, simple concepts are discussed like what is matter, what matter is composed of, what sort of particles are there, whether it has got a particulate nature or it is a continuous, right? Whether the particles are in motion, whether the particles have space in between them, and also the states of matter. States of matter you all must have studied long back. So the states of matter is discussed here. That is a solid, liquid, and gaseous state. And also the conversion, that is from one state to another. So these are all the topics which are, or the concepts which are discussed in this chapter, matter in our surroundings. So we'll be taking these topics one by one. And here I'll try to explain you, right? To explain you the very basic concepts. It's a very, very easy topic, students. You can just after listening the session, you can just go through your book and you'll be through with this topic. Let's start our session here. Now, what is matter? It has been long. You must have studied anything which occupies space and has mass is called matter. It's the definition, you can say. Anything means anything. It can be a bottle, it can be a chair, it can be a table, it can be a piece of wood, right? It can be your doll, it can be a ball or a bat. So anything which occupies space and has mass is called matter. Like air. Air is a mixture of gases. It is also matter. Right? Living and non-living things around us are made up of matter. So matter is something which constitutes the living and non-living things. Matter has got space, or matter occupies space and mass. Now this matter, it has been studied by many scientists. Say, ancient Indian philosophers, they say that living and non-living, that is, according to ancient Indian philosophers, living and non-living was made up of 5 basic elements. It is made up of. According to ancient Indian philosophers, living and non-living things are made up of 5 basic elements. That is the Panch Tattva. You must have heard about it. That is air, earth, fire, sky, and water. So according to ancient Indian philosophers, matter is what? Matter is made up of 5 basic elements, that is air, earth, fire, sky, and water. And living and non-living things are made up of it. Panchatattva, as we see. Greek philosophers, they also said the same thing. But later, the scientists, they classified matter on the basis of physical and chemical properties. So matter was classified on the basis of physical properties and the chemical nature or the chemical properties. Now matter is classified as solid, liquid, and gas on the basis of physical properties. Now what do you mean by this? Physical properties means the appearance, the texture, or the hardness, or the softness, or the compressibility. Right? Now, based on these physical properties, matter is classified into solid, liquid, and gas. There's a 4th state of matter also, that is a plasma state. But initially, these were the 3. Now, on the basis of chemical nature, that is on the basis of the chemical properties, what sort of reactions they are undergoing. Say, for example, hydrogen, it is reacting with oxygen, forming water. Hydrogen reacting with sulfur, forming hydrogen sulfide. So what are all these? Now matter is classified as elements, compounds, and mixtures on the basis of chemical nature. Say elements. It is made up of single type of atoms. You'll be studying about atoms later. Compounds. What are these? Atoms of more than one element combined to form compounds. And mixtures. Mixtures, compounds say hydrogen will combine with oxygen forming what? Water. So water is a compound. Hydrogen will react with chlorine and it will form hydrogen chloride. So HCl is a compound. Now what about mixture? Mixture is, say, simply the mixture of sugar and water. Now, in a compound, what happens? A compound has got different properties from the constituent elements. Whereas a mixture has got the properties of both the entities. That is sugar water. It is sweet. It is sweet due to sugar. It has got liquid texture due to water. So matter is classified as elements, compounds, and mixtures on the basis of chemical nature, whereas as solid, liquid, and gas on the basis of physical properties. Now fine, matter has been classified, but what is exactly the nature of matter? How is it? How it looks? Does it have small particles? Or it is continuous like a log of wood? So, say if I'm taking a log of wood, it is continuous. Right? Say if I am taking up some sodium chloride crystals, sodium chloride, it has got small particles in it. So what is exactly the nature of matter? Is it a particulate nature or continuous nature? Let's see this. So many scientists, they worked on it, and one of the scientists, that is the Leucippus and Democritus, they proposed that matter is made up of very small particles called as atoms. And later on, John Dalton, a British chemist, provided the basic theory about the nature of matter in the form of atomic theory, or it is also called as Dalton's atomic theory. Now there is a question that matter, whether it is continuous or particulate. So later it was found by the scientists that matter is made up of many small particles. Right? Now how will we conclude that matter is made up of small particles? Say, if I'm taking few crystals of potassium permanganate, say 2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate, or some orange dye, I can say 2 to 3 crystals of any food color which you use in your home, which is used, like any dye, I can say, right? Or you can take indigo also. Say if a pinch of indigo. Do you know what is indigo? Indigo is Neel, it is called as Neel in Hindi. Now if I dissolve this indigo, let's take up this example of indigo only. Now if I'm dissolving a pinch of indigo in a cup of water, say I can take, not a cup, I can take say 10 ml of water. What will happen? This water will turn blue, right? Now if I'm pouring this water into a bigger beaker, right, which is having some, again, 100 ml water. So what will happen? Will the water taken in a bigger beaker be colorless, will remain colorless, or become blue? Just try it at your home. You can take a pinch of indigo in say 10 to 20 ml of water, or you can say half a mug of water, and pour it into large amount of water. What you'll find? you'll find that the water in the bigger beaker will also turn blue, though the intensity of this color will be less. Of course, it will not be dark blue, but it will be bluish in nature. Likewise, say if crystals of potassium permanganate are taken. This is the experiment which is given in most of the books. Potassium permanganate is a purple colored solid. Now, if it's dissolved in water, it changes the color of that water. When potassium permanganate, a purple colored solid substance, is dissolved in water, the color of solution becomes purple. Why so? Because purple colored particles of potassium permanganate spread through water, making the whole water look purple. It was just like that indigo only. You just put in indigo in say half a mug of water and pour it into the bucket full of water. The color of water will change. Why so? Because see, if matter had been continuous, the water would not have changed color. It means there are small particles. Now, which are spreading, which are dividing and spreading and imparting color to the solution or color to the liquid. See here, potassium permanganate is dissolved. These are the particles and it is spreading. Right? It is spreading in water. So on dissolving, the particles of potassium permanganate get into spaces between the particles of water. Now what it suggests? That this potassium permanganate is made up of many small particles. Now these particles, they keep on dividing until the smallest entity is obtained which can't divide. Right? So now that smallest particle of matter which cannot be divided or which is no more divisible was called as atom or is called as atom. It was called as atom by Dalton. It was Dalton's atom. So Dalton proposed his theory of matter and suggested that and proposed that matter is made up of many small indivisible particles called atoms. Right? Later it was found that atom is further divisible only. Right? So this matter has got a particulate nature. Now as these particles are spreading in water, it means what? There has to be some space in between these particles. That is, if I'm putting say a drop of dye in a log of wood. So this dye will not spread in log of wood. The whole log will not turn blue. The whole log will not turn blue. But if the dye is poured in water, then the water turns blue. Shows that the matter is made up of tiny particles and there is space between these particles. If there had not been space between the particles of water, the particles of potassium permanganate would not have spread. Now this suggests that the particles of potassium permanganate and particles of water spread into each other, mix up on their own. Now so it is concluded that they are moving. Had they not been moving, they would not have mixed. Say I'm putting in indigo water, say you're taking indigo in half mug of water, or indigo, you're dissolving indigo into water, the water turns blue. The color of the water changes. Now what it suggests that first of all the matter, that is whatever you have taken, whether it is indigo or potassium permanganate, or you can take potassium K2 dichromate, Cr2O7, any colored salt. or any dye for that matter. Mix it in water. Why we are mixing it in water? Because water is a colorless liquid. Right? What we'll find that this colorless liquid has changed color depending on the color of the salt taken. It means that indigo dye or potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate or water, they are not continuous. They are made up of small particles. And these particles, they divide and spread the color. Right? Secondly, there is space between the particles. Space between the particles means there is space between the particles of water. I'm not talking about the space between the particles of wood or iron or any metal. Say if you take any metal and put in some dye over it, that dye will not penetrate into that metal. Say if I'm taking iron bar over here and I am immersing it in some dye. Or I'm painting it. Dye has no effect on it. Say I'm painting it. Now that paint will get coated on the surface. It will not enter the iron bar. Will it enter the iron bar? No. It will coat the surface. But if I'm putting some dye in water, the color of the water changes. Why so? Because in case of water, there is space between the particles. In case of iron bar, there is no space between the particles. Secondly, why this particular dye is spreading in water, not in iron dye? Because the particles of this dye or chemical, they are in constant motion. The particles of water are also in constant motion. Right? But if I take the case of iron bar, the particles of iron bar, they are not at all in constant motion. They are fixed in one position. So this is the basic difference between the solid and the liquid state. We'll be discussing it later. So matter is made up of particles. Right? Now these particles, they go on divide until the smallest particle is obtained, which is no more divisible. Right? To explain the nature of matter, Dalton's atomic theory, or John Dalton gave his atomic theory of matter. Secondly, there is space between the particles of matter. Don't take into account the solid state, that is the wood or iron or gold or silver. They are compactly packed. They are made up of very, very small particles called as atoms, but they are compactly packed. But if I take water, these particles have got space in between them. And last one, that the particles are moving. See, if the particles were not moving, the color could not spread throughout the beaker on its own. See, here we are not stirring it. We have not just put the dye and we are stirring it. We are not doing that. The color is spreading of its own. But if you stir it, the water will turn dark, or the water will get colored at a faster rate. Because when you are stirring, you are increasing the movement of particles. Right? Now let's take up the mixing of two gases. Now this is another experiment which can be done to show that matter is made up of very, very small particles which are in constant motion. Now if I'm taking an empty glass jar, what does it mean? See, this is an empty glass jar. Now is it actually empty? We have not put in anything, but still it contains air in it. Now this glass jar has got air in it, right? Now, an empty glass jar is actually filled with air, which is colorless. When it is placed upside down on a jar containing bromine vapors, the empty jar also becomes red-brown in color. Now what do you mean by this bromine, or what is bromine? Bromine is a compound. bromine is an element which exists in diatomic state. That is, the bromine molecules are there. Elemental bromine exists as diatomic molecule Br2. That is, two Br atoms, they will combine and they form Br2. Bromine exists as Br2. It is a dense, mobile, slightly transparent, reddish-brown liquid that evaporates easily at standard temperature and pressure to give an orange vapor. Let's see this picture, how it looks. See, this is bromine liquid. It is composed of bromine molecules. These are bromine molecules. Now this bromine, this changes into its vapor state. See, these are bromine vapors. Right? Now, if I'm just putting an inverted glass jar over it. Now, this glass jar has air in it. This glass jar contains air in it. Now, after some time, we'll find that these vapors, these bromine vapors have moved into this empty glass jar. And this, we can find some brown color over here. So what is bromine? Bromine is a red-brown liquid which easily turns into its vapor or which vaporizes readily, and its vapors are reddish-brown in color. Now what it shows, students? These vapors have moved to the empty glass jar. It means the particles present in bromine vapor, they have moved to what? To the empty glass jar. Right? Now this movement of particles, now what this vapor, it is what? It is what state? It is the gaseous state. And empty glass jar is filled with air. Air is also the mixture of gases. Now what has happened? This vapors, the particles of the vapor have moved into the empty glass jar. Now this is what? This is also called as diffusion. That is the movement of particles. The particles of gases have been diffused from this bromine jar to the empty glass jar. Now this also shows that the matter is made up of small particles, and these particles, they've got space in between them, right? And these particles are in constant motion. Both air and bromine vapor is made up of tiny moving particles. The moving particles of bromine vapor and air collide with each other and bounce about in all the directions. See, air. Air is a mixture of gases. What all gases are there? Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and many traces of other gases also. Now, bromine vapor is composed of bromine gas, right? Now, these all are made up of small particles, and these particles, they collide with each other. When they collide, they bounce in different directions. Now, though bromine vapor is heavier than air, it goes up, mixes with the air in the upper jar. Because its particles are moving with high speeds, due to which they have sufficient kinetic energy to overcome the force of gravity and go up into the gas jar containing air. It is a complicated sentence, but it's very simple, I'll tell you. See here, the bromine particles, they are in motion. Now they are moving above, right? And above is what? There is an empty jar. Now this jar contains air particles. Now these particles, it's not that they'll go in straight line and will not collide with each other. These particles, they'll definitely collide with each other. They are in random motion. So they'll collide with each other. Now on collision, some energy is released, and now that energy is utilized in motion again. And this energy will impart, they are moving. So when they are moving, what sort of energy they'll be having? They'll be having kinetic energy. That is an energy possessed by the particle or by the virtue of its motion. This kinetic energy is given by half of mv square. M is the mass of the particle, v is the velocity. So more is the velocity of the particle, more will be its kinetic energy. So it is randomly moving, colliding with each other, and also with the walls of container. Due to this collision, more of energy is released. And that release of energy, that energy again increases the velocity of these particles. So more is the velocity, more is the kinetic energy. Now where the vapors of bromine are moving, the vapors of bromine are moving above. That is, they are moving against the force of gravity. So what sort of energy they are having? They are having this kinetic energy. From where it is obtained? It is obtained due to the motion of particles. Right? So these bromine particles, they are in constant motion. They are colliding with this wall of the container. They are colliding with the particles of the air present here. That is, the gases present in the air. The particles of the gases present in the air, which increases, and the kinetic energy, right? When they collide, energy is released. This is used for increasing their velocity. Again, right? So due to this high kinetic energy, they can move up. That is against the force of gravity. So thus, it can be concluded that matter is made up of very, very small particles, which was defined as atoms by Dalton. These particles have got space in between them, as we found it in case of water and gases. And these particles are in constant motion. Right? So this was just an introductory session of this topic, students. And now I'll be concluding this session. In the next session, we'll discuss about diffusion and also the different states of matter. Thank you, students, for listening patiently, and do have a nice time.